Welcome, everybody, to Haven of Horror. As always, I am subject. We have Robert the Blob Wild.
Hello.
Uh, we're both watching a movie we haven't seen before? Question mark.
No, I've seen this.
Oh, okay.
So I've seen this twice, and this is a blind reaction from you.
Yeah. 1 second. My Roku doesn't want to fucking cooperate. It's been eaten by the Blob.
Oh no. Yeah, my memory's already fuzzy because I think I may have seen this after I watched the remake because I don't see the remake until a couple years ago.
Right.
And it wasn't streaming anywhere, so I just bought the Scream Factory Blu-ray. But I'm glad I did. And then I think sometime after that, I was at a friend's house and they have this movie. So I went ahead and watched it. And then I watched it again in preparation for this.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with my Roku device.
That's
Um,
annoying.
Very annoying. Hold on. Technical issues, as usual. Something's always fucking breaking. So how do you feel about at least the remake?
Oh, I love the
Like
remake.
it,
I think it's great.
it's a fun 90 minutes.
Hmm. Yeah, it's not like one of the greatest horror movies ever made or anything, but I mean, we'll get into it, but when we get to that commentary. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. Really good 80s effects showcase with some cool body horror stuff. This one does not have that.
Let's see if I installed. All right, this is gonna take a minute. I'll fix my. I don't feel like fixing my Roku, because I'm just setting it up on my PlayStation. Steve McQueen,
Yes.
and then
Who?
Shawnee Smith is in the remake.
And she is in what house?
Stop.
Oh yeah.
He's Amanda. All right, are you gonna make it easy for me to sign in, Max, or are you gonna be a pain in my fucking ass? You're gonna be easy. Good, good. Max.com/sign in.
Yeah, with Shawnee Smith, it's funny because she's generally talked about as the Saw actress, as Amanda, as you said, and it kind of forgotten about from the Blob, but then you watch it and she's great in it.
I feel
Kind
like
of
the Blob in general is
underappreciated.
just it's the forgotten of the unofficial trilogy of like 80s remakes of 50s horror
Mm.
films.
And I mean, compared to The Thing and The Fly, I mean it's the lesser of the three, but it's still great.
Yeah. No, I mean it is probably the lesser of the three, but it's more fun to watch than those other two.
That's true.
The Blob. There you go. Alright. Alright, Robert, are you ready to experience the terrors of the Blob?
I am.
Right. Just make sure it's a timestamp 0. Oh, and this is a Criterion transfer. Excellent.
Yes, I'm glad they got it. It's a good looking print.
In three, two, one, go.
Yeah, this is a kind of a surprising one for Criterion, but I mean, kind of cool because that's what I have right here. It's not my copy. I just borrowed this from my friend, but it's a nice Criterion release.
Yeah, that
Uh,
does look cool.
got some good stuff. You know, kind of cool for a cheesy '50s B movie like this to get the Criterion release. But I mean, this was a Paramount picture.
Yeah, you would think this would go to like Scream Factory.
Yeah, totally. Like the remake did.
Well,
Yeah,
because
this
like
one.
they got the Fly and
Hmm. Yeah, like the Fly, you'd think would get an Arrow. I mean, it may have by now, but like Arrow or Criterion or something.
I just
But
mean they the original The Fly. They got Scream Factory got that.
oh, cool. Okay. So I do like this opening credits. The title sequence. It's very simple. I like the art
It is very 50s.
design. It's very 50s, and the song is insane. It's so 50s and so out of place for a horror movie, but it was a really big hit. This was a popular 80s song. The Blob theme song was a
Matthew
50s
Bass
hit.
says, "Beware of the blob." Okay, so do you know about this? We almost got a third The Blob.
Uh, go for it. I know this got a sequel, Beware the Blob, in the early 70s,
No,
but
I
I'm not
mean
sure if
a
anything came of it.
third, like a second remake.
Oh, okay, that I did not know about.
Rob Zombie was attached to remake this at one point.
Oh my god. The hick version of the Blob,
I
sure.
I kind of wish we'd seen that. I want to know what that looks like.
Ah, Jesus.
Just remake it every 30 years. It's fine.
Yeah. Beware of the Blob. So I have a friend who years ago was on a cruise, and he got really sick, and he was like throwing up over the side of the boat, and there was a mariachi band there on the cruise, and they were playing something, and he's just standing there sick, and he's like, why the fuck is this so familiar? And it took him, and he was like, wait, this mariachi band is playing a rendition of the Blob theme song. And he was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die listening to a mariachi version of the Blob song. That's gonna be the last thing I hear." Yes, no, we did just call you the Blob 1958. Welcome. So this is iconic Hollywood actor Steve McQueen. Do you believe him as a high school student here?
As much as I believe Tom Welling is a freshman in season one of Small.
What's insane is Steve McQueen. He's 28 when he makes this. He is as old as Timothy Chalamet and Tom Holland are now, and he looks 40 in this movie.
No, like I say as much. I think this is the worst I've seen of it. Like
It's
this
the
is not a high
worst.
school student
Wait, just cast him as man. Why is he a high schooler?
because this is meant for teenagers to go make out with their girlfriends too.
Yep, that's what this movie's for. It's you need boring talking scenes for people to make out during at the drive-in or whatever, and then the scary stuff happens.
Kind of like The Conjuring. Oh.
Oh no, that's not unfair for the paranormal activity movies.
Well, see, those the difference is there is nothing happens for that whole movie.
No, it
No,
just
that's
said
not
that
a, not a bad way to go out.
that is a deep cut for a mariachi band. That's true. But as you'll see, though, the remake's interesting. How it picks just enough of like the basic structure in pieces of this movie, but the characters and story are completely different. But the setup is very similar. We got the meteor. We got this old man going to investigate. It's really cool. and very solid the way the remake kind of cherry picks elements and then puts a new spin on it.
Oh, so this you mean the remake isn't just Psycho 98 again?
No, it's surprisingly not a shot for shot remake.
Oh my god, it's Majin Buu's egg.
Yeah, the effects in this movie are adorable. And should be said, this was a very low budget movie, even for 50s standards. Like this was a low budget, cheesy horror movie,
Mm.
but did really well. I mean, it made a few $1 million, so it turned a pretty huge profit, and was a hit for this type of movie.
Hmm.
So like that's the charm of this. It's a small town. It's very low budget, and I know like the town that a lot of the actors and people who are in this were very proud of it. Like it has a following for a reason. It's an important movie. It's just not one I'm gonna go back to a lot.
Oh, touch it.
Nope, nope. Ew. Though I do think this scene, but in both versions, is still pretty effective. Like just imagine like watching this as a kid back in the day. Like this is just the subject matter of it is genuinely scary.
No, this is creepy. I don't know why he decided to touch it with a stick.
Yeah, well, nobody's perfect.
No, I know the big thing that the remake does is it kind of has a Steve McQueen character and then he's instantly taken
Yes.
out.
Yeah, it subverts
No,
the
who would you
final
pick to
picture.
make a Blob remake now? Rob Zombie.
That would be fun.
Um,
Mike Flanagan.
can
It'll
you
be 10
imagine the Blob
episodes.
with a monologue at the end of each episode? What would
No,
the
it'll be about
metaphor
the
even
town.
be?
Sadness.
Again?
the the blob represents depression.
Stress eating.
Hmm. Yeah, you do it like Midnight Mass, where each episode you just kind of flesh out the small town, get to know each of the characters.
Other than Rob Zombie. Um, William Eggers, 18th
William Eggers,
century. What?
Robert Eggers.
That's what I said.
Okay, that's not what I heard, but I'll take your word for it.
Just imagine like 18th century, the Blob. Ye
I was just gonna
bastards!
say.
Ye ate me lobster.
It's like, oh god, we just dealt with the. It's like, whoa, the plague's done. Oh shit.
It's the Blob.
Oh, this is way worse. But you can see already, like, oh, there are similarities with them finding the old guy infected, and they're gonna take him to the doctor. It starts pretty close to how the remake does.
No, I feel like Flanagan is our answer for every who should remake this horror movie.
He's the one who's good at it.
He's not my pick for this, just because I don't think he's right for this material. You need somebody who can do that schlocky thing, and he's very. I don't want to say elevated because I hate that term, but he's very sophisticated in his
Mm.
storytelling, and I've not seen anything to convince me he can make schlock.
Okay,
Um,
Noah has my back. He said he heard William Eggers.
I don't know. Roll back the tape. That's possible. I am exhausted today.
Oh boy.
Um, the thing is, there's just not a. We don't have like a wealth of big horror names that I like. There's like two.
Hmm. Well, and you need somebody who's good with visual effects. That needs,
Yeah.
because that's the big thing you need to get right. And the reason why I kind of dread or roll my eyes just at the idea of a Blob remake is, oh, but it's gonna be shitty CGI and it's gonna look bad. And not if you have the right filmmaker behind it, but you need somebody who works well with
No, you know
visual
what?
effects.
You know what my answer is going to be, and it'll never happen. James Gunn.
Yeah,
He would make
he
a
did that.
kick-ass Blob movie.
Yeah, like what he did with Slither, just that with the Blob.
Yeah, that movie like blew my mind in theaters. By the way, Slither.
Oh god, it's so gory.
It is. It's so cool.
Sir, what were you doing out in the middle of the night with this high school girl?
Oh, I'm going to add I Am Legend to our wheel because I have a
Oh,
very
okay, cool.
specific original one version in mind. It is The Last Man on Earth, or I think starring Vincent Price. I don't know if you've seen it, but it kicks
Ooh.
ass.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there's that one, and there's also the Omega Man
Mega Man, which I
with
have not seen and
Charles
I've
Manson. I need to
heard
see both of them.
bad things about.
Yeah, I, I mean, I'd
But
be down for a triple feature, do all three, but
we
we
can
can
do
add it to
that.
the wheel.
I've read the book.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I am an apologist of the Will Smith movie, but I acknowledge its flaws.
I like it. I don't like that third act much, but I like the first two acts.
I prefer the alternate cut that sticks to the book.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the better version. Thanks, test screenings.
It does have my favorite Will Smith meme though. The no, no, and then what happens like right after? If I have that, it's been a while, but if I have it in my head right, the structure of that movie, right after that's like the most heartbreaking thing. But
Mm.
no, that movie's biggest problem for me is just are they supposed to be vampires or monsters? Like, what are they?
Yeah, they're a new species. I mean, well, I mean, you've read the book. I mean, they're more like zombies, kind of, but they're called vampires just because, like, there's no other equivalent to those creatures when that book's written. So they're vampires, kind of, but not really. That's just what they're called.
Right, but they're also like intelligent,
Yeah.
and the things in that movie are just CGI monsters.
Mhm. Yeah, they're kind of fast zombies. Clearly, like 28 Days Later, Dawn of the Dead were kind of influences on it.
Carl Vendetta. Is it just me or did someone else also thought that John Carpenter directed the '80s Blob?
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean I could see that. It's in that same conversation as a John Carpenter film. This car is very blue.
It is. Dabba dee dabba die.
Hey Robert, do you feel like almost nothing has happened?
Yes. But you know, you just it's we're just hanging out with some 50s teens, gonna race cars because that's
I
what
just
they
like
do.
to imagine that's what '50s teens actually looked like, and we just kind of devolved as time went on to look younger and younger.
Yeah.
You know who he kind of looks like, Steve McQueen in that shot. He kind of
Hmm.
looks like the guy that plays Professor Connors in Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah, the Dylan Baker. He's in a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised, from what I know of McQueen, this is an era film that I'm not very knowledgeable about. I'm surprised they got someone like him for this.
Yeah, he was in a bunch of stuff. I think the 60s, I want to say, was kind of his big, like, probably when
Mhm.
most of his notable stuff came out. I
So
don't
this
remember
is
when
his
Bullet
before he
was.
was like famous.
Maybe. I like he was definitely a working actor.
Hmm.
Certainly. But
That car is
yeah,
very
that's an
pink.
yes. No, that's an actor who's a big blind spot for me. Like I need Bullet. I should see. That is kind of a big
I
one.
don't even know what that is.
Uh, yeah, it's a crime horror movie. I don't.
Huh? Oh, off topic, but I just saw Suicide Squad, the games, season 4. We're finally getting Deathstroke. It just took 4 seasons,
When nobody
and nobody
cares.
cares. It's like a tale for
Now
five
it.
dollars. I would have announced that before you put it on sale for $5. Like, hey, it's $5, and
Yeah.
we're adding Deathstroke to the game.
So wait. Well, is it gonna be Deathstroke, or is it going to be the real Deathstroke, meaning that the other Arkham Deathstroke was a fake Deathstroke? That's my question.
He's wearing the
It,
same kind of mask as Arkham. It's just a still
okay.
image, so we don't know anything else. But
Spoilers, it'll be Mr. Freeze's wife.
oh my god,
But
I hope it is like, oh, I'm the real Slade Wilson, and that other there's a fake running around here.
oh god. So I can't watch this and not get American Graffiti vibes, because that's kind of my only window into like this era of American culture
Hmm.
with teens and cars and stuff. That's a good movie we're seeing.
I don't know if you have this, but I've seen a lot of like sitcoms and movies where they'll have like a bit where it's just two people in a wood in like a forest, but it's just a sound stage. This looks like a sitcom setup.
Yes, it absolutely does. And again, this is a very low budget movie, so like it's
I
fine,
know
but
it's just
the,
funny.
yeah, yeah, totally. No, like it does look like a '50s TV show, except it's in color and widescreen. You crazy 40-year-old kids driving your cars backwards racing.
This why is this questioning taking so long? Just tell them what they did and write them up. I mean, goddamn.
That's he's bored. Small town. What else is he gonna do tonight? And that is just an era that just feels so lost on us. I've never been in a situation where somebody in a public setting has picked a fight with me and said, "Fuck you, let's drive down. We are racing our cars." That hasn't happened to me yet. Maybe it will one day. But immediately, though, I will say one of the positives of this movie for me is we set up these guys kind of picking a fight with Steve McQueen, and it's easy to remember his character's name because his name is Steve in this movie. But then it quickly turns around to, oh, they're just guys fooling around. They're gonna be friends, kind of. That's kind of like you think, oh great, here are the movie bullies. They're gonna be dicks the whole movie, and no, just guys. It's kind of fun. That has a certain charm to it.
They're still in the same spot.
Yep. Look, we have 4 or 5 sets to work with. That's what we gotta use. Damn it.
But where's the blob?
Because we're supposed to be making out with our girlfriends right now, who we didn't bring. This was a horrible idea.
We should have started with the remake.
Yeah, like I said, like this movie does have a strong following. It's held in pretty high regard. It's a classic, and I mean, it's certainly an important movie. But eh, like, I feel like you just kind of had to be there. You know, it's a nostalgic thing for a lot of people, which I totally get. That shot's kind of cool of the old guy's arm,
Yeah,
all
and I mean, I'm
blobified.
definitely being a little like over the top with it just because I am tired. But Noah Robert's waiting for the day where some guy calls him chicken and challenges him to a race.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
You chicken. The plot twist is
But
I don't have a car.
uh,
The
Yeah, it's
blob
just
is gonna be on his arm for like the next half an hour, isn't it?
no, it doesn't take that. Don't worry. Oh God. It's just again, I want to give this movie its shot. You know, I've seen this a couple times. Say, look, it's important. It was a big hit when it came out. It's a nostalgic thing, but also we have also seen and discussed movies on the channel much older than this that are a lot more entertaining and engaging and interesting.
My
This is
thing has always been
fine.
this is such a like 80s premise.
Mhm.
I don't think of this as a 50s movie because with the not only the sensibilities but technology, I don't know how you make this work in the 50s.
Yeah, and it's debatable if they pull it off, but I certainly respect the attempt. And that is a big thing that has going for it, where you can see why this is popular. Because when you think 50s B movie, what you usually think is a guy in a rubber costume chasing people around. You know, that's what most of them are. And then you get something like this that is way out there and different. Just as a concept, it is kind of terrifying.
Meanwhile, back on the first set,
Yeah, they have like three trees and have to rearrange them for the different camera angles. Don't touch that with your hands.
it'd be so fucking funny if there was like a piece of the blob left and it just attached to him.
Meanwhile, back with the Hardy Boys.
Legitimately, though, these guys could be the Hardy Boys. Matthew Bass, who you calling a chicken? Oh, Beetlejuice is on Max.
I saw that too. I should finally watch it.
That was alright. I should watch it again though.
Guys, you don't need the lantern. We've got plenty of studio lighting.
They found Jason's shack.
That'd be. I want to see that movie where it's a blob movie or an alien movie, and then a Jason just shows up and starts killing people. I want to see more of these genres collide. Come on. This guy's got the right idea. He's like, I just want to go to the movies.
The Spooky Show. Uh, Random, just because that kind of reminded me. Have you ever seen A Clockwork Orange?
Yes, I have seen him. It's great.
Oh, the reason it reminded me is the because you know how that movie has made up language.
Mhm.
The word for good in that is horror show. I always thought that was interesting. I've read the book
There's
on
a
that too. My dad loved that movie, so I've seen the movie. I've read the book. The book is
well,
kind of
yeah.
a nightmare because it uses a lot more of that made up language to the point if you
Oh yeah.
don't have an encyclopedia next to you, that book is unreadable.
Yeah, my dad read the book pretty recently and liked it. I think his version though had like an index in the back, or
Yes,
like that had like the word
the
meanings, and so
thesaurus.
the thesaurus. Yeah, so he did. I remember saying it was kind of difficult to read, but he
I
also has two
would
different.
recommend the book because there is a seventh chapter or an
Yes,
extra chapter in the
yeah,
English
yeah.
version that Kubrick purposely left out.
Mhm. Yeah, my dad has two copies of the book, one with the extra chapter and one that was published in America that didn't have it.
Oh, okay, that's cool. No, it says Jason would beat the Blob in a fight. Obviously, I mean, of course,
So, oh my god,
it's
guys, run!
boiling acid.
It's kind of neat though that like the first thing they come up with to try to stop this thing is acid. something that might actually work because most movies you think wouldn't go to that. Because oh, acid, yeah, it's a good idea.
Oh dear God, that looks like peanut butter and jelly.
It sure does.
We've tried one thing. Nothing will stop it.
Yeah, no, that line's so funny. She gives up hope fucking quick. I'll be right back. No, don't say that.
You can't say that.
Oh no, she's getting off screen to death.
Oh.
Like so, I can picture being a kid and finding this movie actually scary. Probably not you, since you grew up with RoboCop 2.
With me, it was very inconsistent. RoboCop 2, fine. Creepshow 2, mm-mm. And the
That
Creepshow
is
2
kind of
bit, admittedly, is just this.
it is. It's like an unofficial little Blob sequel. It's so good with the little tar monster.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse. At least talk about the '80s versions, the Creepshow 2 tar monster or the Blob. They're both bad ways to go. I don't.
I don't know,
Neither look
because
like
they
a good
both kind
time.
of operate in the same way.
Hmm. Except with the tar one, it's like a couple characters get like stuck to it, and it rips their skin off. The Blob just kind of absorbs you.
Yeah, but then you have to be
Ugh.
like slowly broken down and
Yeah. Oh no, he got blobbed to death. Talk, Steve. Steve. Steve Harrington.
when are we gonna get the Stranger Things Blob episode?
I mean, we kind of did in season 3.
No, they should get the episode that Frank Darabont's directing should just be the Blob.
Sure.
And that's where we kill all the characters we don't need anymore.
But earlier up top, we were talking about like those 50s B movie remakes, most of which we got in the 80s. I've always said I think the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 1978 one, really kicks that off, which is great. And then you get stuff that's a little different, like like the '80s Little Shop of Horrors movie, except it's a musical, but it's still a really big production. You get that, and then you get the three big ones we think of are John Carpenter's The Thing, the '80s The Blob, and the of course the Cronenberg The Fly, which all feel very similar-ish, kind of in the same vein. And I mean, at the time, The Fly was probably the most successful of those, at least initially, because with The Blob and especially John Carpenter's The Thing, we think of them as classics now and like, oh, those are the good remakes. Those are the remakes everyone likes. They met a lot of resistance when they were coming out. There were a lot of fans of those '50s movies that were not happy about them getting remade and did not like them. I mean, John Carpenter's The Thing, infamously did quite poorly and deserved so much better. But with the Blob, there were a lot of people, even to this day, who are like, "Nah, the '50s one's great. The '80s one, that's just popcorn 80s trash, and I think it's a better movie. But hey man, if you like scenes of people talking,
This
this is
is
the
the
movie for
movie for
you.
you so far.
If you love monologues,
I mean, I love monologues when they're well written. So far, this hasn't really been a monologue. It's just
this is not a monologue movie.
it's just talking. Stop talking.
He kept talking and talking. He's got the Superman crest on his shirt. That's kind of cool.
Ugh.
But the big defense people have of this version is, well, but what's scarier is what you don't see. It's the suggestion of it. The remake, it's all gore and you see everything, and that's not as scary as the psychological element,
I
which
I hate that argument. Get your stick out of your ass and learn how to have some fun.
yeah. And to be clear, it can be done well when something's suggested but not actually shown, theater of the mind. I mean, these things can be done well. I agree. This movie,
The problem is that
you need interesting characters.
yeah, I don't even know anybody's name in this movie.
Steve. I
Oh,
remember Steve.
is he played by Steve McQueen?
Yes.
I like to imagine Steve McQueen just being, I'm not learning my a new name for this movie. Just call me Steve.
And of course, a big factor of that is budget. And to the movie's credit, it is creative with what it shows, what it doesn't show. You only see the
Okay,
Blob
but here's
skeleton
the thing.
times, but they just did the best with what they had. Yep.
Night of the Living Dead came out 10 years after this. This
Mhm.
cannot have bigger budget. Those characters are actually fun to watch, to do
Right.
things. I, tell me, what's these cops' names? Can you tell me?
Nope. And they're investigating the Blob murder. That's their
Um,
motivation. But look, they're on the set we were at a couple scenes ago. Like I said, I'm all for the benefits of psychological horror in theory, but sometimes you get something like the Thing or the Blob remake where you're like, yeah, but now I'm seeing it, and that's way fucking worse. If there's one defining trait of 80s horror, it's no, 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 no. We're not doing theater of the mind. We are showing you fucking everything, and it's gonna
you
scare
will
the shit
watch
out
it
of you,
and you will like it.
and you will, yeah. That's what I think of 80s horror is the good and the bad, just the excess and the
That's just the
shock
'80s
value.
in general.
Hmm. But we got a murder mystery to solve. We got a locked
Oh
door,
no.
missing bodies. What's happening? And like I said, then this creature as an idea is scary. But with the 80s one, it's like, okay, now we have the budget to kind of be more creative with it, you know. But it is a terrifying type of alien, you know. It gets everywhere. It's rough, it's coarse, it's irritating. Just a bad
Yeah,
time all around.
Anakin Skywalker's triggered right now.
But one thing I do find more interesting, at least in comparing and contrasting them more than actually watching this movie, is just the small town vibe. You know, it has that quote unquote innocence to it, very
Mhm.
50s, very clean, you know, but it's like what you bring to it's kind of like you know, it's the facade of the 50s, not the reality, because you know, like in the internal logic of the piece, it's like, oh yeah, all the gay people have been kicked out of here, you don't see any people of color here, it's just a clean American small
Whoa, whoa,
town.
whoa, whoa, whoa! You can't say that.
No, it's just why I find it funny when people are like, "Oh man, that '50s one. It's just so cozy and you know simple." And it's like, yeah, because it's ignoring all the bad shit.
Wait a minute. Have you seen Blazing Saddles?
I have seen Blazing Saddles.
Is that the old lady from Blazing Saddles?
I will look it up.
The one
It's been
that's
a
like
minute.
the one that's like up yours. Word I can't say.
I'm gonna say probably not, because like most of these actors do not have Wikipedia pages. Like I said, very old fashioned 50 small town, which again makes it interesting to compare to the 80s one, which is a lot grittier, a lot dirtier, that the people are more flawed. You know, this is the facade of the 50s, whereas this is the facade of a small town, and that's more, you know, kind of the reality. And with this one, with the blob, it's like if it represents anything, it's like, it's communism. It's this big red thing that's going around absorbing everybody, and we Americans got to kill it, got to stop it. That's the go-to easy way to analyze all these 50B movies is, it's about communism, probably, because that's what we were really scared of in the 50s. Is that what the blob is? I don't know, probably. Or it's just a jelly monster. Who's to say? But scenes like this, the setup's great. This guy working on his car, he's vulnerable. He doesn't know the blob's coming, but it's not. Yeah, you can at least let us hear him scream or something. You know, make it
Oh my god,
scary.
it's jelly.
Okay, well, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, draw it.
I
I
just
don't know.
I don't want to sound mean, but I'm bored. Like,
Yeah, I think it's a boring movie. And again, the blob effects are cute. You know, they did the best they could. There's a lot of reversed footage. You know, playing back stuff with these little like clay models or whatever they were using, or whatever they were using. You know, but I guess the biggest praise I'll give it is the compositing's pretty solid.
yeah,
Putting that thing in different environments, like that looks okay for what it is. Also, you know, the 50s is kind of the big transitional decade from black and white film to color film. Obviously, there were plenty of color movies before the 50s, but this is when they're really starting to dominate. And this, unlike a lot of cheap sci-fi B movies, were black and white just because those are cheaper. But this being in color at least makes it stand out from a lot of those because the blob is this really weird, colorful creature again. So it's at least a memorable image.
hmm
These characters aren't, but creature kind of is. But even stuff like Creature from the Black Lagoon, which had a real budget behind it, even that was still black and white. Maybe for aesthetic purposes, maybe just because it was easier with the 3D. I'm not sure. And it's, especially if you're a horror fan, like you get to the 60s, and even though the vast majority of movies are in color by the 60s, you kind of still assume or think of horror movies as being in black and white just because the two everyone knows from the 60s are Psycho and Night of the Living Dead because they're both in black and white just because that was cheaper. And that kind of colors the whole decade where you're like, oh yeah, we weren't making color movies until like the 70s. And no, that's not true, but it's kind of all you think of for that decade. The 60s might be the biggest blind spot decade for me just because I have not seen much outside of Psycho and
hmm
Night of the Living Dead. Because I've seen a number of 50s movies and 40s ones, but 60s not
I think
much.
I think at this point, anything pre-70s is kind of is a pretty big blind spot. However, I've seen like the Universal, at least the
Mm,
first wave of Universal
mm.
movies.
But one of my favorites from this decade was The Incredible Shrinking Man, just because it's so creative with the visual effects and all the sets and props and stuff, and the compositing, and it's just a really cool, entertaining movie with such a unique concept, and it lives up to its title. The whole movie, you are watching an incredible shrinking man. It's what you paid for. It's what you get. This, you get the blob sometimes. You also get a lot of talking. Is it a crime to be 17 years old? It is if you're 40.
Could be.
Oh God. Oh no. Now we're at this scene.
Oh
Tell
no, not
tell
this scene.
tell me what you think of this kid's acting. Hey, Danny.
Are you afraid to go out by yourself? Acting.
I love. This is supposed to be her younger brother, and they look like 20 years apart at least. Is this the same Danny from The Shining?
Yes, they're about to have
Oh.
equal acting capabilities.
Get out of here, Danny.
Mm.
Get out of here. I love the scene with Steve's parents talking while he's in bed in his bedroom, and it's like, why is your son still living here? He is 57 years old. Kick him out.
Can we please just like keep changing the age every time? Dude, you're playing like 17, but you look 80. What is happening?
Gonna do this till you're 90.
Till you're 90.
But he's got to save the small town because he's a good American boy. And there is kind of a germ of an idea that's completely unintentional, but there's a theme that's festering beneath the surface of this movie that I find kind of interesting. You get just a little dash of this conflict between the youth and the authority, particularly the one cop character, and you just get that just a little bit a commentary of like this contrast, in the generations can't see eye to eye, and it's an interesting thing to bring to it when this stuff was festering and will then reach a boiling point in the 60s, because that's when everything explodes, reality is just shattered,
This is
it's
not
a
reality.
nightmare. Like we're shipping kids to Nam. It's a whole thing. That's just obviously not on this movie's mind at all. It feels like there's just a little there of, oh man, this is we're all really gonna go to shit in less than 10 years.
You maniacs. You blew it up. Look at that 40-year-old boy.
I mean, for being a 70-year-old man, he passes for 40 pretty well.
Yeah.
I
Look at
will
you
say.
now, boy. It's gonna be bloodline rules.
And a lot of this movie is just not a favorite trope of mine. Of I saw this crazy thing and people won't believe me about the crazy thing. It's like, yeah, because
Oh,
it's so fucking crazy.
oh God, what is it? My there's one of those that drives me absolutely insane. Um, I can't think of it now. My least favorite of that is when like it's two people and then one person tries to like convince the other that what they saw. And they're like, I didn't see that. Yes, you fucking did. You were right there.
Are you sure you saw what you think you saw? Look at this loving relationship between a young high school girl and her 90-year-old boyfriend. It's very sweet.
Well, he's lifted the contract. It's till he's 90.
And I mean, you can already tell at this point that Steve McQueen is a good actor. Like, he's not bad in this. Like, he's totally fine. I just,
Mhm.
I need more, man. And I've never seen the sequel, Beware of the Blob. I think it's a more intentional comedy. I don't think it did that well. Comes out in the early 70s, which is a really weird time for a Blob sequel. And just not what you think of when you think of 70s horror, especially early 70s when we're still in fucking Vietnam. All I know from the second one is there's a bowling alley scene. There's a really big bowling alley scene, and that's kind of a fun set piece idea, location wise for the Blob to infest. So I'll check it out at some point. But yeah, I'm not gonna go back to this movie a lot.
Yeah. Oh my god, they're watching a movie.
Yeah, well, the movie theater set piece is the big one from this movie, which will carry over into the remake. And that's a fun thing to compare. Is in this one, these kids are at a movie theater, and it's a cheap, shitty 50s scary like ghost movie. It's a black and white. It's in the woods. And then in the 80s version, the movie they're going to see is like a shitty slasher movie.
Hmm.
So that's kind of a fun little cultural element
Yeah,
to
that's
compare.
fun.
I hate it. I hate it when people talk during the movie. Get out of here, asshole. Crazy kids.
You fucking
Uh,
bastards.
okay, so that poster says the vampire and the robot, but that's clearly a Forbidden Planet poster. What's going on with that? Unless that was the tagline and the actual title was cut off, I'm not sure. That was clearly a Forbidden Planet poster. I love that this guy is like, shut up. Like, we believe you. If the subtext of this movie was it's actually about a gay romance, I'd like it way more. It'd be way more interesting. Because Steve and other guy have way more chemistry than Steve and his girlfriend. I want to see them have more screen time together. Yeah, the nicest thing I could say about this movie is it has a charm to it, but also he probably just had to be there. And it's different from some of those other remakes because the 50s one, even if it's a little dated, it's still that one's still generally regarded as a classic in its own right and as a good classic science fiction horror film. John Carpenter's version's just more faithful to the story and is a very different beast. The Blob remake to me is just it's just this but better. It's just the more fully realized version of this concept.
I'm having that so far.
And the Fly would be another one more like the Thing, where like the 50s Fly and the 80s one are very different movies and should both be seen. But with the Blob, it's like, yeah, that's just we just have the superior version now.
Dude, like nothing has happened this entire fucking
They're
movie.
they're talking. They're talking to the townspeople. Look, we got an extra set. Shut up.
Oh, masterpiece
This
of a
is all you
movie.
see in this room. You can't. A wall in the foreground and a wall in the background with the doorway in the middle. That's all I get. And now we're back in the woods.
All these squares make a circle. All these squares make a circle. All these squares make a circle.
Damn teens in their cars making out middle of the night. Monsters, what are you talking about? Monsters. But see, look, we built a bar set. Got a dozen bottles and a shelf.
Oh my god. It's revolutionary.
Now, this part of the movie, I think, was shot like an actual small town. Because, yeah, we did not. Here, we're just going to be shooting at actual stores.
Now, I think I have seen bits of this because I think this is probably the worst the Blob will look.
Probably. There are a few shots that have. Well, there's a really bad one near the end, but we still got a half hour to go. And I think if the big thing I changed about this movie is if you're gonna make it about the small town and the Blob picking them off one by one, let's at least let us get to know them. Most of the victims in this movie are just off screen, and the most you get's like the doctor in the
Mhm.
opening. But again, let us care about these people more.
Mhm.
And then the flip of that, the counter argument is like, well, what about a Jason movie, about a Friday the 13th movie? You don't care or know
But
about
those are
most of those characters
different.
because but Jason shows up every 5 minutes at least.
Yeah.
He's always there. We've been looking for the Blob for like a half hour. Oh, there it is.
It's been 84 years.
Oh my god, dude! For a 98-year-old man, I am impressed he could just lift her up like that. That's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
It's a little weird that the 100-year-old is like hitting on this like 15-year-old, but
Yeah, it was the 50s. It was a different time.
I've heard it both ways.
But this scene is very similar to one in the remake with
Mhm.
the main guy and main girl and trapped in a store. And then it slays them. Oh my god! Even though the effect isn't great, this reveal is cool. And again, will be mirrored in the remake of oh no, the Blob it can just go right under a door, just get kind of flat and moves anywhere. And it's a nice little payoff to that scene with the doctor. It's like, well, how could a murder happen here? There's no bodies, and the door was locked from the inside. Oh, that's why. So it took an hour, but we finally got to set up the payoff. That's nice. Yeah, is
The,
this what is this? The ooze?
the door locks.
Like I said, there's some fun reverse photography in this. That's yeah, it's something. Shut up about the dog. You've known it for like 5 minutes.
Have that with the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's one of the worst ones of that. So what we've established is the blob is the antithesis to the mind flayer in Stranger Things. The mind flayer likes it cold. The blob doesn't like it cold.
Um,
So who would win a fight?
um, yes.
You are gonna have some blob in your blob movie, right?
See, this could be a cool set piece, like hiding in the grocery store, and
Hmm. Hey, you kids. This just makes me want a Shaun of the Dead moment where this group runs into our other another group that's just the opposite of them.
yes.
We're running from the blob. What are you doing? Going to the pub. Oh, okay. Good luck. Why are they talking in a phone? I wish the more of the movie focused on this guy. Like, why is this town going crazy? They are all pulling a prank on me. I like that his ego's that big. We should be doing
Everyone
more with
loses
him.
their mind.
All right, gang. We got to set up a trap for the blob.
What an absolute ego.
I think they've got it in for me. And this is just thrown in there that they've heard about my war record and it bugs them. What? Why? it, again, it's like there's something in there, just a little bit of the youth having issues with war, military, which is really gonna explode in the '60s, and I don't. Are we saying something? Are we predicting something? I don't know, but it's in there. Or this is just a really insecure guy. It's probably that. These kids heard about my war records, so they got the whole town to turn on me and drive me insane. And hey, look, it's a married couple in two beds, because it's a '50s movie.
My grandparents were like that.
Hmm. That's kind of a funny gag with this old guy. I again, I wish more of the movies that let us see more of like these quirky side towny characters.
Mhm.
I want to see the people in like the weird townies in the Friday the 13th movies deal with the blob. But let's see create your crazy Ralphs and your diner ladies have to team up and fight a
If this
space
movie had
monster.
a crazy Ralph, it'd be instantly 100 times better.
Yes. Oh, Danny, you fell asleep on the job, you fucking idiot.
You maniacs!
I'm guarding you, but you're doing a shit job at it.
You blew it all up.
They should have let Steve McQueen play dual roles. Let him be Danny too. Fuck it. Yeah, but now the movie is about like just getting the youth together to make a lot of noise and warn everybody and kind of get the town to band together. This movie is kind of an optimistic view of society. The town is in danger. Listen to me. Several people have died, most of which you've not seen, but that's fine.
You maniacs! If we stay the course, we are all dead. This is the only contribution I have to right now. It's just stupid movie quotes.
Okay, stop being repetitive. Think of some other ones. Take your time. You can throw a Clockwork Orange quote in there, whatever you want. Listen to me.
It's bigger. We have to shrink it down.
Ooh, what would a Saw versus Blob movie look like? How does
The Blob.
Jigsaw
I want
incorporate
to
the Blob
play
in
a
his saw
game.
traps?
All you do is consume. But what will happen when you have to not eat? If
Your
you
sin
don't
is
eat, you will
gluttony.
be. Your sin is gluttony. If you eat, you will be frozen in place and shattered. Live or die. Make your choice.
What else can we do with this franchise? Can we introduce a lady Blob? Can we do a Bride of the Blob movie?
Please. But it just ends like Bride of Frankenstein, where the blob looks at it. Look, she looks at herself and kills herself.
Yeah, and this scene is why this movie is a bit irreverent, or this town has been irreverence, because most of these people, these extras, like these are just townspeople. They're not actors. They're people just coming for the day to help fill out these crowd shots because they're making a movie, and and again, that's something that this has. Like this is a pure a movie, but like this is a pure small town like middle of America movie. Like this is not a Hollywood movie. You don't see a lot of these made outside of the Hollywood system, so that's something. But stretching for compliments, man. I'd rather watch what these kids are watching.
Oh my god, this is still going.
Yeah,
It's only got about like 10 minutes left.
more like 15. Look out behind you. There's a blob. Ew, it's oozing.
All the things it's missed. The Brady Bunch reunion. When you think about it,
Oh.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, is just a remake of The Blob.
Oh my god.
You're laughing? These people are dying and you're laughing. Whoa, it's like The Shining. Oh my god. Oh, we
When
actually got like 5 seconds of blob footage.
yeah, it's pretty cool. When the film breaks, I wish we pulled the Gremlins 2 and just Hulk Hogan shows up, break the fourth wall. You know, that'd be something.
Dude, what's this, the 50s? I don't know who wrestles wrestling in the 50s, but I would have respected the fuck out of this movie if, like, the Iron Sheik or someone popped in.
who's who's The Rock's dad? How far back did he go?
Oh, God. Rocky Johnson, I think? I don't
Might have been 60s.
know.
Not
My
sure.
knowledge of wrestling kind of falters out past previous before Hogan.
Hmm. Please scream and run around in circles.
Because wrestling was also a very different thing. You didn't have the weekly
Hmm.
shows at the time. It was you were on the road and just doing certain house shows.
Hmm.
It's funny to think about, but the televised wrestling like we have now, that's not a thing until the 90s.
Yeah, and that's kind of crazy.
Before that, it was house shows and pay per view. Yeah, that looks rough.
It looks rough, but I like the miniature. Yeah, Bela Lugosi was in a movie. That's fun. Oh my god, this kid's gonna shoot it with his fake gun. What is he, stupid?
Yes, he's in the asylum.
He does. My favorite trope when like somebody's shooting a gun at Superman or something, they run out of bullets and then just throw the gun. The kid did that, but it wasn't a real gun, so there are no real bullets. So it was entirely useless. It's all over. It's all over. But yeah, like so that movie theater bits, the most iconic scene of the movie. People running out of the theater screaming is fun. There's some adorable miniature shots, but some of the blob moving around doesn't look great. But it's gonna be worse coming up because we're gonna get just a matte painting of the blob just over taking this building, and it's just a still shot. There's no animation or movement whatsoever. Don't go to the cellar. I've seen Night of the Living Dead. Yeah, and then we make this kind of a moment, and I'm not sure because now the cop who's been a dick the whole movie, yes, this is
That
gonna
looks
attempt
really
a hero
bad.
movie. Yeah, it's just woof. The blob suddenly got very flat, but now this guy with his war experience, he's gonna take the shot. But will he succeed? Take the shot.
Do
Okay, there's some animation with the electricity. That's something.
it.
I love how heavy this scene is. It's like it's really depressing. Like that's a really dour moment. It's on fire. This is the most defeatist fireman I have ever seen in anything.
Well, you know,
We've done all we can. Oh no, the blob is coming. Stay away from the windows. I'm not afraid.
I'm not afraid anymore. Can we have the Blob versus it?
Yes.
What would the Blob's like fear be? Would it just turn into ice?
The Iceman cometh.
Oh my god! If it turned into Arnold, Mr. Freeze,
Yes.
that would be the greatest movie ever.
Yes. No, make a Batman versus the Blob movie where Batman and Mr. Freeze have to team up to stop the Blob from destroying Gotham
Oh,
City.
Hollywood!
Fuck
If you're
yes.
watching this, James Gunn, please make
Please.
that the Brave and the Bold. I don't care about Damien.
Like I said, I love how subtly depressing this scene is. With the kid, I'm like, oh my god, is this gonna end like the mist?
Just imagine if it did. He went crazy,
That'd
just
be
started taking
insane.
people out.
I'd have so much more respect for this movie if it ended with something insane like that. I'm like, oh my god, this the tone gets really heavy.
No, that is kind of my. That is what that's what I mean though. Is like you're not going to get anything like that from a '50s movie.
Right.
In many ways, I think this is held back by when it came out.
Probably. But then again though, a lot of those low budget kind of schlocky cheap 50s movies do go to some hardcore places because they could get away with it because they
Mm,
were just these shitty little low budget. So you'd be surprised how dark some could go. Horror has always been this little underground kind of underdog genre where every once in a while one will slip through the cracks and do something insane
mm,
and shocking. And then, that we end the 60s. I mean, remember, Psycho's 1960. That's just 2 years after this. And that's like a real movie. That's not cheap schlock. And then in 1968, you get Night of the Living Dead, where everyone's like, oh my God, you could do that? Like,
mm.
I wish this had a grim, nihilistic ending. But
No,
it's not that kind of
that's why
movie.
we need to remake it again. Give it that.
Yeah.
Rob Zombies would just be an ate the entire town. That's why I want it.
And then what happens when the blob consumes everything? Does it just die? Is it just sitting over the world and then just
It's okay. I'm gonna pitch you. I'm gonna pitch
dies?
you a
What?
the ending of a Blob trilogy. The camera zones out. It's the Earth covered in a thin pink armor. The Blob has consumed the world. Suddenly, a face appears in the pink mist and looks at the camera and goes, "We are the Blob." And then it rolls to credits.
Get your fire extinguishers. Get your plastic cartridges.
Is that what they
Turn
say?
turn in your metal weapons. But see, this movie's about working together. It's about this nice little old town banding together, saving the day, because people are good.
No,
Men are still good.
you're not. You're never.
If you seek the Blob's monument, look around you.
Oh, okay. I've changed my answer. I know who I want to remake the Blob. Can we please get Zack Snyder's The Blob?
Sure, that's a
Can
good.
you
He's good with visual
the
effects.
the Blob jumping out and then it just goes into slow motion as it attaches itself to the old man?
Sure,
Please,
I'm down.
I need this now. And then the Blob can like jump in the air like the Hulk or like Superman, and it'll slow mo as he's passing by a church.
Hey, according to the lyrics of the song in this movie, it leaps, it slides. I mean, I haven't seen it do any leaping, but it's in the song, so it's canon.
They leap now.
They leap now. I didn't think we were gonna make it. Okay, so the note we leave this movie on is weird, and I have several questions. Oh god, that effect's not great. So the blob is frozen. It was frozen today, and they're gonna transport it to the Arctic. And our last line of the movie is Steve McQueen saying, "As long as the Arctic stays cold." And then we end with a question mark. The end question mark.
Global
Is
warming.
this a is this a global warming warning? Is it? But it's 1958. Like, was that a thing? I don't know. Was that or is it a joke? Like, yeah, it's the Arctic. As long as it's always cold, because it's always cold. I can't
I
tell.
don't think it's a
Is this a
joke if
message
you're.
movie?
You can't do the joke if you're gonna have like the question mark.
The question mark.
But
That's just
that would be a great way to do a sequel. Now is the Arctic heated up.
yes, yes. Like, I agree that that's one place you could go with it. Just or that's your end of your remake is the blob's frozen, but it starts melting, it starts thawing, and then that's how you open your sequel. That'd be great.
Can you imagine the sequel to the Blob, Son of the Blob?
You joke, but for some reason that was the alternate title of Beware the Blob. It was also called Son of Blob.
Of course it
I should watch
was.
that movie.
All right. Well, that was our
Oh,
commentary on the Blob. I didn't have a lot to say. I didn't like it very much. I'm glad I watched it. If you're watching after the
yeah, you
fact, thank
knocked
you
it
so
out.
much for watching. Please consider hitting the subscribe button. If you are watching live, stay tuned. And we will start the remake here in about 5 minutes. All right. We will be right back.
Ooh, Scanners is on here. Should watch that.
Oh my god, he's back.
The man behind the mask.
That is correct, sir. Are you ready to watch The Blob?
But we just watched the Blob.
No, we're gonna watch this one.
Oh, I thought this was the first Blob.
No, this one. I have the 4K, so
That's awesome.
fuck you.
I have the Blu-ray.
Does it
Yeah.
have the same? Yeah, it does. I can see it from there.
Yeah, and mine has the reversible cover though. That this is I mean, as is the case with most Scream Factory releases, I much prefer the original poster. Just so simple. Terror has no shape.
What
It's
is
lady
your
having a bad time.
reversible art?
I don't know how well you can see it. It's not great. It's
Oh,
like a
it's the
crowd shot
generic, like, yeah.
of a lot of yeah. Scream Factory very hit or miss with the artists they get for their alternate covers. That's a lot better. I much prefer that one.
I didn't even realize that was there. I also prefer that one. I'm switching that over.
But oh,
'Cause-
this one, you get two taglines for the price of one. Terror has no shape, and scream now while there's still room to breathe. Good stuff.
well, and I find that they're very inconsistent on their 4Ks for that artwork. And I think it's because they don't have a like a template. Their Blu-rays kind of have a template for custom artwork. I've
Hmm.
noticed.
Yeah, it'd be cool if more of them just went with like some like the weird foreign posters or just alternate posters.
Yeah,
Because the
so
original
cool.
artwork
And then I can still
that
have the
that was
other
pretty good
artwork on the because it's slipcover.
for the slipcover. Yeah, that's the best. The lame version of that, the lame example of that is the Scream Factory release of the 1979 Dracula, the Frank Langella one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that of course has the reversible cover, which with the original poster, which is great. And then the alternate posters, just a picture of him, and it's really lame. And that's what they used for the slipcover. So with the slipcover, you get the lame version. It's like, oh,
My go-to is the Halloween first Halloween because it
mm.
does offer the original artwork, but the slipcover is those really awkward like paintings they
Oh yeah,
commissioned.
before yeah, just the kind of bland modern stuff.
All right, sir, are you ready to watch the Blob, the other Blob?
I am ready. Let's blob
In
it up.
3, 2, 1, play.
A tri-star picture.
Remember TriStar?
Yeah. It's not a star, that's a triangle.
Oh.
Idiots.
So it is important to note that this is kind of an all-star team
Mm-hmm.
making this movie. This is Chuck Russell and Frank Darabont,
Yeah.
who
The
did
the
the
team
best Nightmare on
oh
Elm Street movie.
yeah, classic. Yeah, the team who brought you Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors is back together again. I
And
mean
it
that
just
movie
has
I
the
never
most
watched,
like
but
generic opening credit.
yeah, the font it's very 80s. What I will say this movie's missing that we would do if we did a modern remake of this is we need the slowed down modern sad version of the Blob theme song that you could put in the trailer. Beware of the Blob.
Of course.
And now we're flying like Superman.
They fly now?
They fly now.
Oh.
The atmosphere here is great. We're back in a small town, but now it looks all empty and dead.
Mhm. Well, what's cool about this is it doesn't want to be the original, but it also doesn't be like, that original movie sucks. No, these people
Hmm.
like the original. They're like,
Yeah, there's clearly plenty of reverence for it.
they can transfer.
Yeah, we say this all the time. We want more remakes like this that look at old movies and go, okay, how can we do this concept better? How can we
Mhm.
update it? Instead, we usually go for the masterpieces, the movies that are great, and try to remake those for some reason.
You mean
Not that
like
it can't be done.
RoboCop?
Oh God, yeah.
Remember RoboCop?
How crazy is it to think that when this is coming out, people were talking about it the way we talked about the RoboCop remake?
That
You
is
know,
crazy. Yeah.
because that feels
Are
insane. Because
you
this is actually
okay?
good.
Record, but are you ready for in maybe 10 years the RoboCop remake reappraisal? Oh, it wasn't that
Uh,
bad. It's pretty good.
I mean, we're already at 10 years, right? That movie came
Yeah.
out 10 years ago. Fuck.
I don't think it'll happen because that movie did just come and go. It wasn't like a
Like
cult
the Total
hit.
Recall remake.
Ooh, I never saw that one. I assume it's not good. We love pointless remakes, folks. Well, and I was just thinking about that because I've been seeing that with the Bay movies, the Bay Transformers movies, where people are now like, "Oh, those weren't that bad." Yes, they were.
Even so, I think you primarily see that for like the first three, even though seeing that for the second one's insane because it's so hated. But I don't know if the Wahlberg era is gonna get that reappraised. But we shall
Imagine
see.
trying to reappraise Thor. Well, that Romeo Juliet scene. That was.
Oh God,
It's weird seeing Shawnee Smith so young here.
you low key kind of blew my mind with that. I never made that connection that that's who that was.
And it also blew my mind when I rewatched that '90s Stand miniseries, and she's in that too.
Oh, cool. How now? I know she's in a bunch of Saw movies. Is there one where you'd say she's the main character?
Mm, she is a main character in 2 and 3.
Okay. I'm just thinking hypothetically, and this makes me very sad to think about, but hypothetically, when Tobin Bell is no longer with us, which hopefully isn't for at least another 20 years, he can do it. Uh, do you see them shifting focus and maybe at Saw 12 or 13, maybe she'll be the main character? It kind of like what they did with him for Saw X. Is that just speculation,
Watch
possibility?
watch Saw 2 and 3 first, and then get back to me.
Hey, as we've seen with Tobin Bell, you can make an infinite amount of movies set between other movies. They're not gonna
Yeah,
stop.
no, not till he's 90. Uh, Eyebrowless Kevin Bacon over here.
Yeah, Kevin Dillon. He's pretty good. Not a great mullet.
Very
I'm a
80s.
connoisseur of mullets, and that one's not great. Kiefer Sutherland in The Lost Boys. That's the mullet to beat. That is the best mullet that's ever been on camera. And so here we have a guy who becomes one of our main characters at the end, who's kind of, he's an outcast. He's a loner. He's also dressed like a 50s greaser for some reason, because that's just what 80s movies did. Because these were written by middle aged men who didn't know what punk teenagers looked or dressed like in the 80s, I guess. Oh, that's not how you motorcycle, idiot. But the big thing for me that this movie has over the original is you get a whole bunch of weird standout characters and you're not sure who's going to make it to the end.
Yeah,
It's,
that's always
it's
fun.
like a horror movie, John, where characters are picked off one by one over the
Oh my
course of the narrative.
god, who could have thunk it?
And hey, look, it's Sheriff Jeffrey DeMunn, who was Dale in The Walking Dead.
It's that guy from The Mist.
Yeah, and the Green Mile. He's a Frank Darabont regular,
Yep,
that Jeffrey DeMunn.
that's why so many core characters leave Frank Darabont does. Fuck you, AMC.
Yeah, and because he leaves Walking Dead entirely because of Darabont getting fired,
Although
which is
to
why
be fair, they at least give him his comic book death.
kind of ish.
Or am I forgetting something?
You're forgetting something.
Okay.
I don't think he's even dead yet in the comics. We'll check that later.
No, because he dies. He dies before the prison in the comics, doesn't he?
No, Dale. Are you thinking? Are you confusing him with Herschel? Because
No,
Dale's
because
around a
Dave's
long
the one that
time.
gets cannibalized.
Yeah, that's after the prison.
Oh. You know how long it's been since I've read that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to your credit, it's shortly after the prison, but still, yeah, he's around for quite a while. But yeah,
He already
that's what I
looks
like about
middle
this.
aged, and it's the '80s.
But you said up top that this feels very respectful uh to the original movie, and it is. Like clearly the people making this love that movie. This is also kind of the antithesis to it, which I find interesting because our hero in the first movie our heroes are, these good American teenagers, and here one of our main characters is an outcast, you know, a loner guy that the town doesn't like. And there's a lot of that in this movie where it's kind of a flip on the first one. And hey, look, we're setting up something that's gonna pay off later, like movies used to do.
Remember setup and payoff?
And hey, look, this small town has diversity. That's nice. I do like that the old guy in the first movie. You know, he's just an old guy living in a shack in the middle of the woods. Give it this guy. It's 80s hobo, 80s homeless man.
Well, Jason took his shot.
Yeah, and look, it's like the first movie, the shooting star. Also, watching this now, it totally hits me. We talked about Creepshow 2 during our commentary on the first one with the tar monster, how it's basically just a blob. This setup, it's also very Creepshow 1 with the Stephen King short with the moss.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me though. Darabont has, I think, some of those same King sensibilities that we've
Hmm?
talked about. Flanagan really, more than anyone, I think, understands King sensibilities.
And it's now it's the creepiest priest you've ever seen.
Yeah.
This looks like he's got to be a character actor who's just did a million things because he is really chewing it up.
He prayed for this and it happened. I was just like angry pharmacist.
Yeah. No, there's a good payoff to that. They do get a good joke
Do
out
you
of it.
remember? It reminds me of. Do you remember the creepy pharmacist in It Chapter One?
Oh yeah. Oh, the guy who looks kind of like Stephen King.
No, no, no! Wait, wait, wait! That actress has not had the that played Beverly, the younger Beverly. It's not
Hmm.
had the career I would have thought she would have had after
No,
this movie.
I mean, she's in stuff. Hopefully, she's
Yeah,
in
she was
something
really
good.
good in. She's in that Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh yeah, she was good in that. That's a good movie.
No, I think she was kind of a standout in that first It movie.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, like I love this movie. I can't not think of Ivan Ooze.
No, and you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta poke it with that stick. Ew, gross looking goop.
Well, I guess she was in Asteroid City. I don't forgot she was in that.
Oh well, I
No,
mean,
she
there's like 200 actors in that.
and I didn't really care for that movie. Uh,
Ow,
she's had a pretty good year. She had a pretty good 2023. I take back
that's
what I
cool.
said. She was in three movies that year.
Oh wow. So right off the bat, we do establish the blob as a way scarier threat. It's more than just,
It
oh, don't
doesn't
touch it.
awkwardly like move.
It doesn't awkwardly move, but it's more than just you have to avoid it. You can't touch it. No, it leaps onto his leg. It
Yeah,
actually leaps this time. So that's when you know, oh shit, this thing
it's
is
sentient.
cognizant. Yeah, and will attack you. Like that makes it way freaking scarier.
This is a 0 out of 10 '80s movie. Dee Wallace should be the mom. Everybody knows that.
That's correct. And again, there's a lot. This movie's so underrated, man. Because this girl character, you think, oh, she's just gonna be the ditzy cheerleader bad girl, and then is one of the heroes by the end. She has to really step up and kick ass, and it's so frustrating when people talk about like, oh, our modern horror movies, like the female roles are so much better. They're not just eye candy and dumb and cannon fodder. It's like, watch this movie. There are so many examples of good female characters in horror movies. Over the course of decades. That this is not a new thing. I mean, there are plenty of not great final girls, but this is one of the standouts. She doesn't get the credit she deserves. And if we do like our top 10 final girl ranking, like she's a contender. She's one I wouldn't want to forget about. This is a great joke. Like this is a good payoff. Oh no, the pharmacist is the dad,
Oh my god.
and he thinks he just bought a ton of condoms. Meanwhile, back to Motorcycle Man. And see, the problem with this forest is all the spotlights.
Problem with this forest is that it's a forest.
I sense a jump scare coming up. Ah. I love that shot where he goes to chop off his leg. Oh, he's not looking too good.
And I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but I am very much a fan of body horror. So
Hmm.
this one obviously appeals more to me because we're able to go to those places.
Yeah.
Show me some
Uh,
fucked up, weird.
oh yeah. No, this John Carpenter is the thing in The Fly. All body horror, all very gory. They all feel of a piece. Like we always talk about like unofficial trilogies. John Carpenter has his Apocalypse trilogy, which I feel like most of his movies could kind of qualify for that. Like it feels a little arbitrary. These kind of feel like a trilogy. They're all with the love and respect for the originals, kind of coming from the same place and putting a similar, spin on it. The
Yeah.
Fly being the most fucked up, just depressing of them. And we were talking about earlier about, is this the lesser of those three? It's the issue of The Fly is the better movie. This is the more rewatchable movie.
Yeah.
This is the more entertaining movie. The
If
Fly
you
is
asked me
great,
just to put one on, I'm gonna put this on.
right? You got to be in the right mood for The Fly.
Young Shawnee Smith also looks like someone, but I can't put my finger on it.
She is just a very specific '80s girl look. It's like there's a lot of
Yeah,
actresses from this
maybe
time
that's
that
what
look
it
kind of
is.
similar. It's the hair. I think that's a big factor. Ugh, don't you homeless guy's all dirty. Don't touch him. And right off the bat, though, again, with kind of the glossy, warm, sweet hometown vibe of the 50s one here, or getting to all the fucked up modern shit and flaws where it's like, this man is dying. He needs help. Problem. It's like, does he have insurance? Like that. We're your one job at a hospital is to take care of this guy. But with where the systems are, it's like, mm, does he have Blue Cross? We've lost that just basic humanity. Not that it's her fault, she just works here, but it's pointing out that those cracks, those flaws in the system that have kind of evolved by this point. And everyone's favorite part is all the paperwork.
That's why people get into the medical profession. I don't know if you knew that. It's for the paperwork.
Does this look like a good first date to you? You think this looks like a fun time?
Yes. No. As someone who spent a lot of time in hospitals, it sucks.
Yep. Don't go in there. So fake out final girl is a thing we do a lot. Psycho really kicks that off with the twists of
Mhm.
killing off your main character, and then Nightmare on Elm Street does it, Scream does it. Can you think of another example of a fake out final boy? Because that's a
Oh, it's such a.
very
The
specific
final
trope.
boy itself is so rare.
Yeah.
Not really, because this is a very specific like. Oh, the original had uh, a final boy in Stephen McQueen. Although
Right.
I'm also not sure he qualifies because I don't know what does he do in that movie. Um, this is
Well,
subverting that.
yeah. Well, the big thing is he figures out the cold being the blob's weakness, so he is pretty crucial in everyone else saving the day. Yeah, in the original, both of these movies are certainly ensemble movies. Like, there's not a singular main
Oh my
character. Uh,
god!
ugh. But clearly, like Stephen Queen is the lead, and this is going for that familiarity
What the
of
fuck
a
do you
very
think the
similar.
nurse is gonna do?
Don't know. This is great though, because I'm waiting for the other guy on the other side of the line to say, "Sir, the blob is coming from inside the house."
Daddy, this is the movie about the giant blob that does blob stuff. That is
Yeah, just
correct.
blobbing it up. Oh my god, Paul! Oh no, we're gonna find out what happened to Paul. Why is there always a Paul in these movies? Look, it's boiling acid.
Oh my god!
Ah, weren't fast enough. Oh, there it is. He's fine. He's fine. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah, I don't think he's fine.
Also, one thing we were doing a lot by the late 80s was final couples in horror movies. We do that in some of the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels. We do that in a lot of the Friday the 13th sequels where there's a final couple. It's like there's the girl, but also her boyfriend, love interest.
Hmm.
This is also subverting that, where you think, well, everyone else might die, but obviously these two are going to be together and survive. And then, oh my God, like, well, he's dead. It's fine, Teddy. We all have irrational fears of blobs. Pretty normal. One of the autopsy pronto. Teddy just asked if we've ever had a final puppy. Uh, Muffin in Friday 2 question mark?
No, it's
But he might be
two.
dead. Muffin's in 2.
Oh, well, if you're gonna do that, then the dog in four as well.
For Gordon, but the last we see him is him jumping out a window, and I don't know what's happening in that
That's
scene. Did he
fine.
live? We
He
don't see him
is
again.
he is as alive as Muffin. Um, Final dog.
Ooh, Halloween 5 has a talking dog. That's kind of cool.
I don't remember that. Um, I'm, I feel like there's. I feel like that's a big thing that I see a lot is like a person and a dog in a horror movie, but now I can't think of any.
Well, but a lot of them usually die.
That's true.
You gotta kill the dog before you start killing the people, which I object to. So this scene's very date rapey. And this also feels surprisingly subversive for the time, because typically in an 80s comedy, they would want you to like this character and not think he's doing anything wrong. But the way this movie frames it, it's like clearly fucked up and not cool. Uh,
Mhm.
but there is a funny bit with a ring where you see that he just has a box of them that he gives to girls. But clearly,
Teddy. Okay, random though. So I recently watched Return to Oz, and damn, I forgot how creepy that movie could be.
Return
That
to
is
Oz is
random.
dope.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's so good. If you like 80s fantasy movies, it's pretty awesome.
I'll check that out.
Like I said, typically in an 80s comedy, you'd be playing the scene for laughs and it would be super dated and uncomfortable, but it's very clear that what this guy is doing is not cool.
Yeah.
So when he dies, it's fine. Dude, she looks like a blow up doll. What are you doing?
Yeah, they. I love how they not so subtly replaced that actress with a puppet or a doll of some kind. Mm.
Oh yeah, like Teddy, that's a big one. No, there is a scene in Return to Oz where Dorothy is running down a hallway with filled with displays of severed heads screaming at her. That movie goes nuts.
Oh, damn.
Oh no.
Oh
Yep,
my
that's
god, the
there's the blow
doll
up
is
doll face.
broken.
It kind of this is the only time the blob ever functions like this. It's a cool death. I mean, the girl died too, and that's kind of sad and unfortunate, but
That is
so
unfortunate.
there's more emphasis put on the sleazy guy getting murdered horribly, and it's fine. Hey, look, it's a snow globe. Maybe that's foreshadowing. You can bet that flag kid was behind it. That's something they speculate on in the Red Letter Media review of this because they do a great episode on this movie. So the punk biker guy's name is Flag. Do you think that's a Stephen King reference, or do you think that's just a
I had
coincidence?
that same thought because it is so specific.
How many people do you know who have the last name Flag besides DC characters?
How many flags do you think are on this island?
Girl,
Can we
calm
please
down.
make the next one just an island of the blobs?
The island of misfit blob toys.
Exactly.
You will not be safe. Oh no, the blob's on the move. Always on the move.
Yes.
And that's what just one of the great details that you get in this version. Again, just expanding on it, just all the little physical objects that linger around that are just stuck to the blob. It's just this mass of flesh and like necklaces and jewelry just sitting in there with these decomposing bodies. Ugh. And of course, these cop characters are similar to ones in the first movie, but they give me more the vibe of the sheriff and his main guy in Friday Six, Jason Lives. Except that sheriff's more of an idiot. You know, Megan's father.
Mm. Okay, last Oz comment. Original 1930s. Ooh ah, happy time. Follow the yellow brick road. Return to Oz. Dorothy about to undergo electric shock therapy. Severed head screaming. Everything is destroyed. Those were
Yep.
the times,
Awesome.
man.
Those times. Yeah, the setup of Return to Oz is Dorothy's family thinks she's crazy because she won't shut up about this Oz stuff. So they have her go see a psychiatrist who wants to give her shock therapy to cure her of her Oz insanity. It's awesome.
That's great.
Brian. But yeah, I do love the unlikely duo these two become because they're so different and we don't do a romance thing, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Again, just kind of an underrated pairing in this type of horror movie.
Yeah, you just don't see stuff like this a lot.
Mhm. And like I said, at their heart, both of these movies are about small towns. Just this one, you actually get to know them, which
This
is
one's
actually
actually
honestly
about the small town.
this is actually about the small town, and that's why I went to the Mike Flanagan pick for another remake of this, just because we've seen him do this with Midnight Mass. You know, he knows how to capture that feel, and with some of his other stuff.
I just don't know how he would do it, like the blob, the actual like blob stuff.
Hmm? Let's let's hire Andy Serkis to motion capture the Blob. Just have him roll around in a studio.
Gotta blow it all up.
And I love how much of a reluctant hero this guy is, because he does not care initially and does not want to do anything about it. Again, the complete opposite of Steve McQueen's character. She's the one really taking charge,
Yeah,
wanting to do something. Look, I know you're the homecoming queen type and all. But back to our versus question. So the thing versus the blob, what wins?
uh, the blob because it just eats things.
Maybe, but does it eat the thing, or does the thing absorb the blob and take on the blob traits? How does that work? I want to agree with you. I think the
I
blob wins that
don't
fight, but
fucking
I'm
know.
not sure. Let's make that movie. Fuck
Oh, fuck. I was good to you, Blobby.
it. Also, we're already 40 minutes into this, and it's just moving at a
And
clip.
it's moving so
It,
much faster.
so much. It still feels like we're in the opening act. Like, but we're almost at the halfway point.
We're halfway there.
Prayer. And like I alluded to earlier, that again, this movie does an excellent job with this ensemble cast and really keeping you on your toes, because you do not know who's gonna make it. Like, there are some shocking deaths in this. We Paul is our big one, and then we keep that momentum going to the end of the movie. It's very subversive with what characters make it and which ones don't. Like Diner Lady, she just seems so sweet and nice, and she's gonna get it. You I would not want to eat at a diner if this is what their kitchen looks like.
That's why you never look in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss.
Just the plunger. Just god, the water looks so gross.
Because you know what, though, Robert? You say that. I guarantee you that will have some of the best food you've ever had.
That's true. You're not wrong. Don't stick your hand in there.
Hands and drains.
Ugh. This is the best example of that I've ever seen. Because usually when you have a character put their hand down like a garbage disposal, like in Halloween H2O, like it's a fake out. This is awesome.
I
And
don't
it
know how
doesn't just
that
get
makes sense, but
I love it. It jumps out on his face and pulls him in. There are some fucked up deaths in this movie. Oh Jesus! He'll be fine.
ignorance is bliss. Some guy named Bliss. You know what? I never liked that saying. Find me a guy actually named Bliss. I dare you, motherfucker.
Look, there is gonna be one hardcore fan of that Penguin show who really latches onto the name Bliss from that drug and is gonna name their kid after it. It will happen. And like in terms of runtime, we're probably around the same spot of the first movie when our two characters uh hide in the cold room. But here it feels like stuff's happened and it's escalating.
Yeah, there's like a escalation.
Yeah. Because we just did the gag with the blob trying to come into the door, but it couldn't because it was cold. Like I said, this movie, it's paced and structured so well. You get all the character development you need, you get all the setup you need, and it just fucking moves. It builds and builds like the blob itself.
We love character building.
No, he put his coat around her. See, if this was a more flocky '80s movie, this would turn into a sex scene. Like
Don't
she'd
sound
get
too
over impulsive
disappointed.
quick. Oh no. I think this diner lady is the most horrific death. Like this is a
No,
bad
this
time.
is get out of the phone booth.
Get out.
It's too late.
It's too late.
I love
And the
how in this
fucked
one
up
it just kind of looks like bubblegum.
yeah. The first one looks like jam. It looks like jelly. This one it looks like bubblegum. Thank God it's not white, because then it would look way worse. And this is a fucked up reveal. Like, oh no, the sheriff's dead. That happens off screen. It's like, oh my god, you think he's gonna be one of the main characters?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh.
That's gonna hurt. Teddy, I dare you. Oh boy, you picked the wrong challenge for me. The main character for James Garfield after an assassin shot him was a guy literally named Dr. Bliss. Okay, that's not a real person. I don't think. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's not on a birth certificate. We need a legal document that says this is that character's name. Get back to us with that.
I'm
Oh
more
my!
so confused. Like, is that a real person? I don't know.
I like all the blue lighting. There's a lot of blue in this
We
movie.
love blue lighting. Not as much as red lighting, but
That's true. I mean, nothing tops red lighting.
his little first name was Doctor. Who? What are you even talking about? I don't understand. Yes, he was a real person. I don't believe you.
Oh boy.
Okay, so here's a fucked up question. What do
Hmm.
you think the blob does to like what's left? Like, does it have a digestive tract? Does it have to take a shit?
I mean, it consumes them. That's how it gets bigger. But then, it does it ever just shit out like all the clothes and stuff? But it just absorbs everything it eats, and we can't stop it.
There's no bargaining with it, no reasoning with it. It can't be stopped. I don't
And then in
remember
the
the rest of the
blob,
quote.
doesn't feel pity or remorse.
Yeah, that's it. Put that on the box. I don't remember the rest of the quote.
And then in the blob dark fate, it'll feel real sad about it and just start a family. It'll regret its actions. Aw, poor little blob guy left a little piece behind. Don't touch that with your hand. The sheriff's dead, girl.
That shit.
Like, so I do feel kind of bad just because the
Okay.
original blob. It. Oh, go on.
Elkins Grove, Angel Grove. That's the city for Power Rangers. It's all coming together. Okay, the blob is just
Smith,
Ivan Ooze's first.
Smith's Grove. But like I said, with the
Robert, we've
first
got to
movie,
get you to watch Power Rangers.
yeah, I know. Oh my God, we're in a Dutch angle. That first movie, man, it's again, it's important. It's a classic. We're not ranking the originals in this series as we go. We're just ranking the remakes just because it's more interesting. Because with the originals, they're classics or whatever. I don't really see the point in ranking those. The original, The Blob, that's at the bottom so far.
That's at the top of
That's
the
that's
list.
at the bottom. That's what else do we got? We got Nightmare on Elm Street, The Evil Dead, and Let the Right One In.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all better than The Blob, the first one. But with the remakes, though, this one, it's putting up a good fight.
So far, maybe under. If my ranking is just watchability, number two. I don't know. This is not more watchable than Evil Dead so far, but it's still really good.
Hmm?
That he's a literal person who's doctor. He's a real person to the point who's put on trial. The guy who shot Garfield literally tried to use the argument on him. May have shot the doctor, but his doc may have shot the gun, but his doctor killed him. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, I still don't know who you're talking about. Like,
I hope he's quoting something. Oh
I mean,
my
I
God,
hope
it's
so. I don't know what he's quoting. If that's true.
oh my God, it's the ET guys.
Does that mean E.T.'s a horror movie?
Yeah, it's a Halloween movie.
That's true. My favorite scene in that movie as a kid was weirdly when he just like starts eating like random foods, and just like the way he would sort foods in the refrigerator was really satisfying for some reason. Then he gets drunk.
Yeah, this feels very inspired by that. Like you could tell this is a post ET sci-fi movie. They don't have time for your
You're
bullshit.
quoting history, you uncultured swans. That's not even the quote, you swine. And history is boring.
Swans are pretty cool.
Spice.
I'll take it as a compliment.
I've heard it both ways.
Ooh, a history lesson. Also, this guy's great. I don't know if he's a character actor man who's in a million things, but he's so good. He's not someone I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure if I've seen him in anything else. But
The
as
like
this
lead
lead
researcher
scientist
guy.
guy, yeah. Oh my god, it's horny teens.
Your favorite. That is an 80-year-old man pretending to be a teenager.
That's the Stephen Queen. Stephen Queen. That's the Steve McQueen homage.
Stephen Queen. Is that like Stephen Amell and Oliver Queen?
Oh my god, I didn't know Jason used a chainsaw. I hate this when people talk during the movie. That- That's good. When people saying, I think the girl gets away, and that kid's like, that's a good reaction shot. That was a pitch please look.
Why is he wearing headphones in a movie
Why?
theater?
Why? Stupid little twerp.
What are they actually watching in that moment?
I do too. I love a good movie within a movie. And like I said, it's a fun flip on the first one, or a nice little carryover. Because in the first one, the kids in the theater, it's this very cheesy '50s like ghost or zombie type looking movie, and then this one, it's a slasher movie because it's in the '80s.
Penny likes swans better. I don't think I fucked with swan as much as an insult.
No, I love that. Like every 5 minutes, you just get a little blob set piece.
Yeah, no, it's not like here's 70 minutes of talking. Here's 20 minutes of blob.
He got the Evil Dead shot to death.
If we stay this course, we are all dead.
I
I wonder
should
what
be
John
taking a shot.
Carpenter's blob would look like.
I
That's the one where the
imagine
blob just takes over everything.
yes. I think there would be less comedy. That would be the main difference because,
Oh
like,
my
I wouldn't call this
god.
a horror comedy. Oh Jesus!
You
But there is a lot of
uncultured
humor here.
gophers.
I can't
Yeah.
begin to thank you both. Oh no, it's turning into a quarantine movie.
Oh. What was it I was going to add to the wheel, Robert?
Uh,
There's three of. Oh, I Am Legend.
I am. There you go. Yeah, I would not have remembered that.
Yeah, I'm out of it tonight.
That's fine. And you have a Night of Living Dead and Silent Night
Yeah.
on there, right? Cool.
As of every
That
other time that you've
that's
asked.
that's the problem. every time we do these, we're just gonna keep adding more to the wheel. We're never gonna run out.
We're never gonna
It's
run out.
just the wheel will keep growing, like the blob, if you will. And I love the ambiguity here, where you're really not sure if you can trust these guys or not. But our bad boy outcast is ultimately going to be proven right. But I like that. I love that this guy's actually smart. You know,
Yeah.
he's observant.
No,
He's
they
like,
they
okay,
are
no, this
both
is really fishy.
capable,
Hmm.
which is fucking refreshing.
Teddy asked about the fly. We have that one in
Uh, how embarrassing would it be if we didn't?
there. I don't remember.
Roll F. Roll the fly. We do not.
God damn it!
Well,
This is never gonna end.
and it goes on and on and
And on and
on
on.
till we're 90, Robert. Now we can always take a break.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm loving this. So we've had really good wheel spins. You know, these aren't like
You just
the
jinxed
big.
it.
I did totally because we haven't had the biggest heavy hitters, but still we've had Nightmare, Evil Dead,
And let
Let
the
the Right
right
One
one
In,
in, the
and now the
blob.
Blob. Like
What a
we've.
weird, like, Teddy, how about the swines? The what?
Hey, look, it's characters we've seen throughout the movie. And I like that they, again, just carry over little elements from the original without them being literally the same characters. That's a change I think is smart, is that these characters do have different names, so you're not directly comparing them. But our main girl has a little brother, like the who will get in danger, like the main girl in the first movie. You know, it's subtle with
Teddy says sorry,
things
the
that carry over.
swans. I still don't, I don't know what you're asking. Is that a movie?
And he's talking about the horror picture of the swans. Oh my god.
I forgot about
This
this where
one.
it's just straight up eats a child.
Oh yeah.
Invaders of the
It's
body
way.
invasion of the body snatchers. When we do have that one on.
Yeah. Well, and that one's an issue because there's four movies, but we're just gonna stick to the first two
Yeah.
because there's a '90s remake and then a 2000 remake. But for now, we'll just stick to the first two. But again, that's what I again find terrifying about this blob. It's not just a mass that's just rolling and getting bigger. It has like tentacles and shit. Like it's snatching people up and
Yeah.
just eating. Like it's like
Your
such a
favorite, the
horrible situation
strobe
to be.
light effects.
Yeah, but I like this movie, so it's not. Oh my god,
No, I'm pretty sure it's there to make the like blob effect look better.
probably. Oh no, it's gonna get him. And it moves fucking fast too. It's like holy shit. Like, does not look easy to outrun. The jackets. Leave him. He's a goner. He's just your brother. It's fine. Ew. Oh no, we're trapped in a set. We're on a studio backlot somewhere. No, this Blob has like anger issues, man. Ew. Get that tentacle out of your hair.
That's
Don't
got to
get
be
killed by the
painful.
don't get killed by the hentai.
Tell you what, you spin the wheel and land on the fly. I might veto that one if it does.
Yeah. Well, we both have a extra spin left. I
Yeah.
think Noah blew his card initially, but
Did he
if we're
use it? I don't remember.
I think he did on the second one,
He hasn't been. He hasn't
but
been here
maybe not.
for no, because he's only been here for Nightmare.
That's true. I don't remember.
We'll say he
This
still has to
this this
spin. It's
was
fine.
this was years ago.
Robert, why
Yeah,
don't you write this shit down?
but I thought he was gonna be with us on Evil Dead and then had to bail.
He didn't
So I might
join
be right.
us.
Oh my god. So this is the big twist on the original, why you call it kind of the antithesis of it, that I think is brilliant. I love this change. In the original, it's an evil alien entity that falls to Earth in a meteorite and starts killing everybody and consuming everything because it's communism or whatever. Here, we turn it into a bioweapon that humanity created and was going to use on, other people because it's a Cold War movie
Yeah.
and we're the bad guys. Shit.
Are we the bad guys?
Are we the baddies?
Do you have Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter on the wheel? The remake by Steven Spielberg took a very different approach to the story. I'm I'm confused. I know that's a movie, but I didn't know that was a remake. I'm sure he's
He's
messing with me.
Spielberg made a movie called Lincoln that came out shortly after the
Oh,
vampire one.
shut up, Teddy. God damn it. I forgot
Because
about that movie.
jokes are better when you explain them.
Was that movie any good? The
The
Spielberg Lincoln
Spielberg,
movie?
yeah, it's pretty good. It's worth watching for the performances. There are a ton of like who's who actors in it. People who are famous, people who weren't famous yet. Like Jackie Earl Haley's in it, and also Adam Driver's in it for like one scene. Like that, the cast is stacked.
As a kid, I was
So
kind of
worth watching.
interested in Lincoln. Like, he probably would have been, like, if you quiz me, like, what are your five favorite presidents? Lincoln would have been
Mhm.
on there. But that movie just kind of came and went. I forgot about it.
No, he's one of our better presidents. I think I could say. I did a report on him when I was in school.
The Blob.
I know some Lincoln stuff.
I know this. Yeah, you're right. I do know this guy from somewhere.
He has that character actor look, and this falls into that line of '80s horror movies where no, humanity. We're the villains. We're the worst. The Blob. It's just doing what it's doing to survive. It's like in Aliens, you don't see them fucking each other over. It's people that really suck.
I mean, that's just true.
And you got to have a good motorcycle chase scene. Those are important.
Okay, so that is Joe Seneca. I'm probably mispronouncing that last name. Oh, he was on the Cosby Show.
Oh, that's cool. Wonder if they'll ever do a reunion on that. Just a nice, wholesome, reminiscing cast reunion.
Do you think there would be pudding pops at the reunion? Oh, I'm going to hell for that one.
That'll be our The Blob YouTube short. People are like, what the fuck does that have to do with the Blob?
I posted a couple today from our Anna
Oh, yeah, I saw those.
commentary.
Ominous music.
He was on the Cosby Show. I wonder what Bill Cosby is doing now. Look it up when you're older.
He's doing time. I want to say there's like an actor in here, somebody really notable, just like mixed in with all these scientist guys.
I do know Bill Mosley popped up for a minute as one of these
That
scientist guys.
that's probably it. Where you're like Bill Mosley.
Oh, Teddy looked it up. Oh my god! Now that's just not dandy at all. Looks up Bill. Can you imagine like waking up from a coma? It's like, I'll just see what's changed in the world. You get to the Bill Cosby thing. What the fuck?
I think that's a bit on a Dead Meat podcast somewhere. I want to say where they're like, what would happen if somebody time traveled, but like in a very short window, like in a very uninteresting window, like a 5 to 10 year time period, time travel. But what would they say that would give them away? Like if somebody time traveled from 10 years ago to now, what would tip you off? Like that Bill Cosby guy, what's he doing? Or is are the Weinstein still making movies?
Nobody's gonna say that.
This is again that big shocking death. Granted, it's not her brother; it's just his friend. But you're still like, oh my god, that's a fucking kid.
Yeah,
And
this
don't
movie has
swim after him;
balls.
he's a goner. Yeah, no, this movie gets pretty hardcore. And she should not be swimming after him. He's fucking dead.
Game over,
Uh,
man. Game
uh,
over.
again, oh Jesus, he's fine.
You should
He
have
turned
grabbed
into
him.
the mummy for a second. Yeah, it's just a bad time.
What's he up to?
That's a good one. Yeah,
He is not
John
gonna
D.
fit through that. That's a great
John,
shot.
yeah, it is. Do you wake up in the morning feeling like P Diddy?
No, I don't know what you're referencing.
Oh my god, that's a lot of goop. No, it's Pennywise is down there. Hey, what the fuck? I was just sleeping. Oh,
That's how
Jesus.
they're gonna set up the It versus Blob.
Yeah, and most of the effects really fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm not remembering or seeing any like, oh, that's like really bad shot so far.
Yeah, there are a couple of oh, that's clearly claymation, or ah, that's clearly that's some poor compositing near the end where you could tell they ran out of money, but it's very little. It's kind of the what if flip on how like John Carpenter's The Thing could have turned out, where you probably know this, but like the original climax of John Carpenter's The Thing was going to be much longer. There was a big stop motion Blair monster that Kurt Russell was going to fight. That's only in the movie for like a couple shots, but it's going to be a much more drawn out thing. And it was clearly stop motion, and Carpenter wasn't happy with it, so he just cut most of it out. This
Probably for
is
the
the
best.
opposite, probably for the best. This is the opposite where you get to the end, it's like, ah, it's fine. We're having fun. Put all the effects in there.
Yeah, it's fine.
They do they do get a lot of this motorcycle. They do some good stunts.
I feel like the Talmanates is going to be chasing them on that motorcycle.
Now the Terminator versus the Blob.
There he
How does
is.
that work? Yay! Good to see you, Bill. How you
I
doing?
don't know. Can the blob like digest metal?
I don't think so. I think he usually just shits it out, or it's just stuck to it. But then could the Terminator move? Also, the Terminator does have living tissue over it that the Blob could consume. But the
Yeah, but then it
endoskeleton
would.
would be fine. But then would it
Yeah,
be stuck in there, or could it fight its way out?
I would say it could probably fight its way out. It is super strong.
Oh no, he's a bad guy. But it's all for the greater good. Yeah,
That
like I
damn
said,
greater
this
good.
this movie has a much more cynical view of humanity than the first one has. And like I said, since in terms of sensibilities, I think this is pretty close to what John Carpenter would have done with it. I just think there would have been maybe just less humor.
Yeah.
Not that there's a lot of it here. I wouldn't call this a horror comedy by any means, but the tone is a little lighter than you'd usually see in a Carpenter flick. Yeah, Teddy, we know that Norm Macdonald quote. We quote it often. the
This is
the hypocrisy.
opposite.
That's the worst part. Like
Well, I mean, that is always the
guys,
worst
the
part.
hypocrisy is the worst thing. I mean, these guys created a horrible blob bioweapon designed to kill millions of people, but it's the dishonesty, it's the hypocrisy that's truly what makes them evil. Brian.
Yeah.
This guy's already given up. God damn it, Bill. You just step up. Yeah, bitch. Gotta have an explosion in there. Like I said, I really appreciate that this is a duo that isn't a romantic couple.
Whatever on
It's
that.
also very similar to Anna and the Apocalypse. I just
Yeah,
made that connection. with our two main survivors in that in their relationship. I mean,
It
these
is a
two aren't
little different though,
exes,
because yeah, I mean, the Nana and the Apocalypse, they do have that history.
but they're both the bad boys that the girl doesn't like and are bickering for a while, and then they have to team up and put aside their differences. She loses her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone's in the mood watching this in the mood for a good Christmas zombie musical, watch Anna and the Apocalypse. Good
Or
time.
just watch it. I don't care what you're in the mood for.
Watch it in February. Watch it in June. Oh my god, John, now they've become monsters. The Blob is
Hey,
just a
Robert,
thing.
we are the
People.
Blob.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, it's all going to shit, Robert.
Oh,
Eddie
his
says
it's
that
great.
Norm Macdonald should be viewed as a comedic genius, the same way that people like Carlin and Kaufman are recognized. I don't disagree, mate.
Yeah, they're all great. Okay, so we joke a lot about the final shot the of Nightmare on Elm Street when the mom turns into a blow-up doll and gets sucked through the door and how horrible that effect is. That's that done well with the scientist guy in the hazmat suit and he's just filled with the blob. It's like then he just gets sucked into the manhole through the manhole cover. Like that's how you do that effect well because here you actually buy
Yeah.
it. But all right, people, you got to team up.
If I can take down that bloody blob, mate. The L is really
uh,
hard to do in that accent. They gotta take down the bomb.
boom.
Oh, that's somebody.
What mustache
Uh,
guy?
yeah.
He looks super familiar.
Oh, but I
He's the
swear I've seen him
deputy or something.
a lot older and balder. Yeah, who is that? He suspects
Oh my
Manson.
god, Paul McCrane. He's in RoboCop.
Oh, that's Toxic Sludge Guy.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, he's also in Shawshank Redemption. So
Dude,
another
he just had like
Darabont guy.
a great like. If you look at his filmography, he goes straight from RoboCop to this to the Shawshank Redemption.
That's cool.
Yeah,
And then he's in. I guess he shifts to TV and he's in ER. I guess that's probably the big thing he's remembered for now. I haven't seen much of ER, but I guess he was in a lot of that.
that is a show I kind of want to watch at some point because that is created by Crichton, and I
Mm.
like what I've seen of it.
That's a bit I'm talking about where
Oh
we just saw a
god,
hazmat guy, little stop
yeah,
motion doll, but it's funny, it's fun. Like that wouldn't fit the thing, that wouldn't fit that tone at all. Here, it's fun. Like
it's
it
fun.
doesn't kill the movie. It's fine. We're good. Good.
Teddy, if you ever do a Blob remake, I want Eddie Murphy to play the Blob.
Well, I have a voice. My pitch is Andy Circus doing the Blob motion capture. Just have him roll around a studio.
Only if you release the what did the Apes movie
The
call it?
apes, the motion capture, the other cut. Yeah, I don't remember what they called it, but yeah,
Where it's
where
none
the
of the
raw cut,
CGI is just the guys in the mocap.
the guys that suits. I want it.
Just imagine he would have to like wrap his body around people and like
Yes, yes, make it.
this would also
Oh my
make a
god.
kick-ass video game.
Oh, totally. This would be a fun game. Make it an asymmetrical multiplayer game. I mean, I don't want that, but it would be really funny if you gave this the multiplayer treatment where one person is the blob and has to grow by killing other players and gets bigger and bigger. That could be kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
Where you just start as a tiny blob.
Or just now that you've seen some of it, Resident Evil 2, but like in the city and the blob is after you.
Mm, yeah, it would be scary.
Oh, dude, getting chased in games is the most stressful thing.
Oh my god, I feel that too. That's games legit stress me out 10 times more than movies do. That's a much more visceral feeling. That's why stuff like Dead by Daylight does have a lot of replay value for me, just because every time I go back to it, that feeling always stays when you're just being chased or when you're seeing and you're like fuck 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 fuck. Gotta get out of here.
Mhm.
Oh no. No, not RoboCop sludge guy. Oh god, he got the backbreaker death. Oh shit, he died like the
I
sheriff.
didn't know
He's
Jason
lit.
was in this.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was great.
This is great. This is great.
It's
This is
great.
great. It's great.
Now
It's
all you
great.
need is not Kevin Bacon to do the dance from part 4, and this would be the best movie ever.
Crispin Glover.
Yes, that's his name.
I, that, Crispin Glover, Kevin Bacon, same guy. They,
No, not Kevin Bacon is the guy in this movie, and have him do the
oh,
Crispin Glover
okay.
dance.
Now I understand. Oh God, no, Teddy! I don't want this
No,
Sharknado
no, no,
making the
no! Wait,
Blob
wait, wait,
movie.
wait, wait!
The Blobnado. Yeah, who wins in a fight? The Sharknado versus the Blob.
The
Answer: I
Blob.
don't care. But can the Blob defeat nature? Can the
Yes.
Blob defeat a hurricane? Can the Blob drown? You know what this reminds me a little of? Maybe stylistically,
Mm.
uh, kind of Tremors. Like that is a goofier movie. There is more comedy, but I don't know, just something about the feel of it and the escalation, and it's just the small town vibe, the quirky characters with just this insane escalating situation. Hey, look, a badass, proactive female character firing a fucking machine gun. It's awesome,
He
and we
probably
act like
should
we
know how to.
just point and shoot. Come on, like she kicks so much ass
No,
here.
she's great. I'm really sad that she kind of disappears from this until
Mm,
the stand, and then
so,
stand until Saw.
oh Jesus,
Jesus.
and she's stuck. Yeah, it's just really irritating when people act like we didn't make these types of movies back in the day. Meg, Megan, Megan. It's snowing. It's a Christmas miracle. My air conditioning kicked in like perfectly during this scene, and I was like, "Wait, is this 4D? What the fuck? I feel cold." Do you agree that this is a Christmas movie?
Yes, it's all about the
Good.
Christmas spirit,
Hmm.
consumerism.
Yeah. All your friends are dead. This is not a laughing matter, jackass.
You're all dead.
Like,
Stay the course.
let's have a snowball fight. But I love this epilogue. Because it's ambiguous. It's not full nihilistic like you think John Carpenter would have done, but it's still a dark ending where we see what this him going what's become of this crazy priest who's got a piece of the blob and he's gonna unleash its wrath one day because the world's going fucking nuts. That's why I'm not like super stoked about a remake. Another remake is just make a sequel to this. It could be set decades later. You
No,
know,
we have to
like
keep
it's
remaking it.
oh god, like this one has kind of sequel bait. It's just a good little oh shit, humanity's doomed ending.
You know what? This is a better movie than Evil Dead 2013. Uh, for my rankings, because I always go based on how much I enjoy a thing. If you ask me, I would watch Evil Dead 2013, but that's just more of a
Yeah,
sensibility thing.
they're both really rewatchable movies. Maybe Evil Dead less so for me, just because it's so painful.
Oh my
It's
god!
so wince-inducing. This is just a fun time. So another question I would ask you is, because I thought about this earlier, how would you make a blob Funko Pop? What does that look like?
Oh Jesus! Like a pink ball.
It's just a pink ball. What I
Yes.
want is like a jumbo one, but instead of just one character, it's a big blob mass, but with a bunch of little normal Funko Pops in it of all these little Funko people. Like, I think that'd be awesome. I'd buy that. That'd be a centerpiece in my home. Because yeah, you don't see a lot of merchandise for this movie. It's not talked about a whole lot. It's kind of eclipsed by the Fly and the Thing, but it's up there with those. It's really good.
Yeah.
Fun
Well,
time.
that was our commentary on the Blob. If you're watching after the fact, as always, thank you, and please consider hitting that thumbs up and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time. If you're watching live, we're gonna spin the wheel, which is Robert's favorite part.
Woo! It's my favorite part because I don't see it. It's so suspenseful.
Yeah. All right.
I all I have to go off of is your reaction.
It's not capturing the right screen. There we go. Oh, whoops.
But I think this is where our rankings are going to start to differ. I should start writing these down because I think this is at my number one so far of the remakes.
All right,
Shockingly, I'd put it over Nightmare.
we've got the crazies.
Ooh, I'm fine with the crazies.
I'm fine with that.
You know why I'm fine with it?
Why's that?
Because I borrowed a Blu-ray copy of Let Me In from a friend that
Oh
also
yeah.
includes the remake of The Crazies, and I still have it, so I can just watch it and hold on to it for a couple more weeks. Because yeah, that's a good double feature. Let Me In and The Crazies, because why not?
There you go.
That that's fortuitous. I can't pass it up. I'm down with The Crazies.
All right, so we will be doing the crazies next on our insane original and remake. So stay tuned for that. Robert, any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to throw out before we call it a night?
No, I think this movie is a lot of fun. That's if I'm ranking all of these, we got the original The Blob, which is at the bottom of my list of the originals, and then this remake. This is my number one. I would put this above Evil Dead. This is where we're gonna
Nice.
start to differ, but we'll see where I'll put the crazies because I don't know. I've never seen
Yeah.
the other version of that movie, so
I really
looking
like
forward
the
to it.
remake. I've only seen the original once, and I don't remember much of it. So,
Yeah, but we'll be back Sunday for some more Resident Evil 2, so stay tuned
yeah,
for that.
stay tuned for that, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Later.